All right, what's up, everybody? We are getting into everything ankles today. This is actually a program I wrote for myself to rehab some ankle pain I've been dealing with for a couple years. And I know I probably should have addressed that earlier, but it had been so kind of not that serious to where it didn't really stop me from doing anything, and I would mess with it for a little bit, it would go away, it would come back, but now I'm really annoyed with it and trying to knock it out. So again, this is the little series I put together to get rid of that. We do get into a little bit of more intricate stuff today, so we'll be using a little bit more equipment, accessories, stuff like that, but it is pretty minimal, still pretty minimal investment, and I'll show you guys a couple alternatives in case you don't have that stuff. All right, let's get into it. We're gonna start again just right with the ankles. Let's go with our traditional ankle car, and we want to really focus on squeezing tissue all the way around the ankle the entire time we move in this circle, right? We do not want the hip to get involved. With the knee locked out, we're not gonna worry about the knee, but that knee might move if the hip wants it to, all right? So we're gonna keep that completely still. Again, just moving the toes here. Lots of tension in the lower limb, calf, tib, quad, all that stuff. And we're just gonna really focus on drawing a slow, smooth, and tense circle with the ankle. We're gonna go 1 minute in each direction, so bear with me here. Really firing that ankle up and trying to use that tissue as much as possible. Slow, steady control here. All right, I'm really focused on tension, so I'm not too worried about my toes getting involved. Really trying to squeeze and flex all that stuff. We got about 30 seconds here. Again, you want to focus on any spots where you feel like you kind of have to speed up or you feel like you get a little shaky. I tend to get a little shaky in this bottom corner. I've had an injury on the inside of that ankle. So I really kind of slow down in that pocket. And we're gonna pause, we're gonna switch. Ankle should be getting pretty fatigued by now, right? We're gonna exaggerate that engagement, right? We're not just gonna draw a circle with our ankle. We're really gonna act like it's our foot submerged in sand or peanut butter, right? We wanna squeeze all that stuff. And my ankle is pretty fired up at this point. All right, a few more seconds here. Trying to get all that tissue fatigued. My pain currently resides in this top corner, more on the front side. So again, focused on getting a good squeeze there as well. 10 seconds. And we can relax. Let's go ahead and switch the foot. We're gonna do the exact same thing here. All right, slow, steady control. Again, really trying to fatigue all that tissue all the way around the ankle, right? Not just the places that are obvious, like up and down, right? We want to find all the tissue on the sides. Just really trying to get everything spiced up here. Slow and steady. We're going to complete a minute in this direction, then we're going to do the other side. 20 seconds. And let's switch. Steady control. Slowing that circle down, right? Getting everything nice and spicy here. Here we go, 30 seconds. Almost done. Oh, man, that's getting juicy. Here we go. And let's relax there. Woo! Ankles fired up. All right, we're not quite done here. That was your traditional ankle car. We still need to visit the capsule car. So for the capsule car, we're basically going to take most of the movement out. We want to focus on kind of this lateral shift. So I want to find 90 degrees in my ankle, right where my shin is parallel with the floor, where my foot is perfectly vertical pointed at the ceiling. We're going to freeze the ankle right here. And we're only going to articulate our foot side to side, right? We're going to try to squeeze all the tissue on the outside, right? Flex that foot towards the outside of your body. And we're going to flex the inside and bring that foot towards your midline. But again, maintaining that 90 degrees in the joint, right? We're just going to go back and forth. Let's do 1 minute per ankle here. Again, this one focuses more on the capsule tissue of the ankle. We can flex, right, tib, calf, everything to keep that foot in that 90-degree position here. And again, we're just looking to really fatigue those tissues. I want to move slow and smooth from side to side. I want to give a nice little squeeze at end range. Slow and steady, 20 seconds. And let's relax there. Let's switch to the other side. Same thing, 90 degrees in that ankle. Really flex, calf, tib, all the stuff in that lower limb, and we're just gonna shift the foot from side to side. Again, looking for that slow, smooth transition, keeping nice amount of tension. I always get some pops out of this left one. Nice squeezes, right? Looking for all that tissue on both sides of the ankle, even working that way up the shin towards the knee. We're almost there. Cool. All right, ankles should absolutely be fired up by now. We are gonna get into the feet. Before we move on to the good stuff of the ankle, I'm just gonna use one of these for a little bit of balance. Now, very important, we have healthy feet and strong muscles in the feet in order to support the ankle. So that's kind of what we're gonna work on with these, right? We're gonna do some toe dexterity drills. I like to do these standing just because it puts a little more tension in the foot naturally. Now, if you do have trouble with what I'm about to show you, we're gonna manually force our feet to do this, where we will kind of exit this standing position. So we're gonna basically articulate your big toe different from your other 4 toes, right? So the first movement is going to be pressing all the toes down to the floor, and we're just gonna pick the big toes up, right? We're gonna flex and tap and flex and tap. Now, if you have no ability to do this, right, all your toes are coming up, we would essentially block the 4 toes and then force that big toe to lift by itself. Interestingly enough, I feel like it's harder for me to do this than it is to lift them without the block. Maybe the left side will be a little easier, right? But essentially that's kind of, there it goes. That's how you kind of teach your brain how to do this. But for me, I'm gonna do this standing with no block. So follow along in whichever way works better for you. But again, we wanna spread those toes as much as we possibly can. And we're gonna press everything down into the floor, and then we're just gonna lift the big toes and tap. All right, let's get about 10 reps. Really what we're looking for is fatigue, so I'm probably not gonna count properly. I'm just looking for fatigue in all those muscles. That's why we're pressing the toes down, trying to flex everything. Nice controlled movements here. It's getting a little spicy, so I'm going to switch. I'm going to press the big toes down. We're going to lift up all four. All right, trying to keep everything as wide as possible. Again, just looking for fatigue. Should be around 10, 12, maybe 8. How many reps? Extra points on the 4 toes if we can cascade, right? You see I work from the big toe out and then from the pinky toe back in. All right, those are getting pretty spicy. We're going to lift the 4, and now we're going to tap the big toes. Trying to spread everything. And that's pretty spicy. Let's tap the other 4. Oh, that's getting everything fired up. We're almost there. Woo! Okay, woo! My feet got nice and fired up there. That's an excellent one. Again, and it made a world of difference in my ankles. I used to have terrible ankle trouble, and once I started working on my feet, I saw an immense improvement. Now, the last one here is something that I'm still working on developing. So you may see me alternate from a standing to a blocked position, but we're going to try to move our big toe laterally. So again, we're going to start in that kind of nice spread, flexed position. I'm going to try to bring my big toes in and then back out. Right? We go in and then back out. Continue. Oh, that one's tough. So, right, we bring it in, back out. And same thing, we're just looking for fatigue here. Ooh, that gets everything juicy. Woo-wee. Okay, and again, same thing on that one. If we have trouble, we block and we move that big toe. You can see that works a little better for me, right? On that right side. I don't know why that right one doesn't want to move. Oh man, good stuff for the feet there. All right, let's get into a little bit of a pails and rails for the ankle here. So I am going to use this pad. All right, now you don't need to use this pad. Traditionally, I do this just on flat ground, right? We would just sit or kneel, right? You're gonna point your toes as far as you can. Try to touch your heels together, and then we're gonna sit down on the heels to block. This is called plantar flexion, right? When we point our toes. Because I have that pain in the top of my ankle, I don't quite want to be fully at end range. So that's why I'm gonna kind of elevate here with the pad to give myself a little bit of cushion. So again, if you don't have that issue, please go ahead and do this on flat ground. It'll be a little more effective. But for me, I just kind of want to take it easy on that particular area of my ankle. And then I also believe with the cushion, I can get a little better engagement when we do the pails, right? Because I get a little bit of movement there. I can really kind of hone in on flexing that tissue. Okay, to begin, we need to stretch for 2 minutes, right? I'm going to adjust a little bit to find a little bit better of an end range position. We got 2 minutes in our passive stretch, letting the nervous system kind of get used to this position, flex and everything. And we are hanging out. So this is our end range position. We are going to engage pails and rails, right? Pails are progressive angle isometric load, and rails are regressive angle isometric load. The progressive angle is trying to press the knuckles of your feet down and through the floor, right? We're trying to bring our ankles back to that neutral 90 position. And the rail is the opposite. You're going to try to point your toes even further, trying to make that transition from your ankle to your shin even flatter. And what that's going to do is we're going to create strength at end range, right? With the pails contraction, we are adding tension and engagement in that tissue that's being stretched right in the front of our ankle. at end range, so we're gonna add strength there. The rail is gonna do the opposite. We're gonna create more space, so we're gonna have more room to work with. And it's important to do both in order to create a durable, healthy joint. All right, we're a little over a minute in. We're gonna give ourselves just about 40 more seconds before we engage these isometrics. So again, if you have trouble sitting all the way, right, we can place our hands down, take a little bit of pressure off, but you notice your ankles will still be at end range. If you're comfortable here, we can stay here. Got about 20 seconds. It's funny, we did all that stuff for the feet. My feet are kind of cramping up being back here. Woo. All right. Let's start to ramp to our pales contraction, right? So remember, pales is pressing the knuckles of the feet down, trying to bring the ankles back to that neutral 90, right? But we're blocked with an immovable object, which means we are not gonna move that ankle at all. We're just gonna engage, right? So we're gonna start, let's go 30%. Squeezing through the top of that ankle, pressing down to the floor. Let's build to 50. Let's find 75. Here we go, deep breath, tight core, quads, glutes, shoulders down in 3, 2, and 1. Give me 100%. Driving the knuckles down, trying to squeeze that tissue in the top of the ankle. Fire it up, get it spicy, and squeeze. Here we go, we're almost done. In 3, 2, and 1. Keep the tension, go rails. We point those toes, right? Try to find more plantar flexion. We're squeezing through the back of the ankle and in the calves. Trying to find more room in that ankle. Keep going in 3, 2, and 1. Relax. We're staying in the passive stretch. We got one more set. Nice deep breaths. We're going to rest for about 30 seconds. We got 15 more. We're going to do our last set. Let's start to ramp, right? 30%. Pressing those knuckles down. Let's build to 50. Find 75. Deep breath. Core, quads, glutes, shoulders. 3, 2, and 1. Give me 100%. Driving those feet down and through the floor, right? Squeezing that tissue in the top of the ankle. Trying to find as much tension as possible. We squeeze, we hold, we find more tissue. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Point the toes, squeeze through the back of the leg. Find more room for plantar flexion. Drive, hold, and fire it up. Here we go. You are almost there. In 3, 2, and 1. Relax. Very slowly. We can exit that position. Ooh, your ankles are going to feel weird for a second. Don't put weight on too fast. Just let them kind of move around a little bit. Oh boy. Woo. Okay. Those are fired up. Let's give the ankles a little break. We're going to go back to the feet. Now, I have this cool pad. I really like this pad. I forget what it's called. Here, I think I got the paper over here. Apollo balance pad. These things are super cool. I've used them a lot back when the unfortunate times where I had to do physical therapy. And they're just very useful. They're not that expensive. I think I got this one for like 30 bucks at Played Against Sports. I just love them. Anyways, I'm gonna use this for the next drill I'm about to show you. If you have a yoga mat you can bunch up, you can use that too. Or if you have like a t-shirt or a towel, we can create the exact same effect, right? We can kind of lay that down. And what we're doing is we're trying to strengthen and contract those muscles on the bottom of the feet. So with the towel, right, we would kind of plant your foot. You're gonna squeeze and bunch up your toes, right? Give me a little pause at in range. You're gonna squeeze and you notice how I'm pulling this towel closer and closer. And eventually I'm just gonna pull it all the way. You can reset, do the other foot. So again, that's the simple way. I'm gonna do this on my super cool balance pad. And basically I'm just gonna kind of isometrically contract my toes into the pad. So I'm gonna squeeze
Make a fist. Let's hold, really try to contract all those muscles in the foot and the ankle. We're gonna relax. Let's get a few reps until we find fatigue. All right, nice squeeze and hold. The cool part about this one is I can feel it in my ankle where I had that injury on the inside. Nice little squeeze. So that tells me exercising these muscles in my feet may actually help that area. Woo! Nice little squeeze, contract those muscles. And let everything go. I'm gonna get 3 more. Oh man, whoo, it's fired up. So again, don't worry if you don't have one of these pads. If you want to get one, they are very available. If you are using the t-shirt, towel, whatever, again, just give me a little squeeze. Every time you make that fist, you're just looking for fatigue. All right, get those muscles on the bottom of your feet to get spicy. All right, I'm gonna switch legs. Same thing here, nice little squeeze, hold. Getting everything flexed up. Trying to make a fist with the toes, right? I'm pressing down to that pad. The deeper I press, the more dense it gets. Oh. Squeezing and holding. Here we go. I get 2 more. Oof. Alrighty. Next, we are going to work the ankle in an inverted position. I'm going to do a more advanced version of this movement. There are a few available to us. We of course want to tread very lightly here. These are delicate ligaments on the side of your ankle. And if you're like almost everyone else on this planet, we've definitely injured these before, right? When we traditionally roll our ankle into that inverted position, right? We sprain the ankle on the outside. Those ligaments can become damaged. And even though your ankle feels fine, it may not be ready for this exercise. So the easiest or lowest version of this, right? We're gonna use our pole to take some weight off. We're just gonna roll that ankle. We're gonna try to put a little bit of pressure on it. We're gonna hold for a second. We're gonna come back, right? That feels too easy. We can really just kind of go all of our body weight. Again, really kind of set on it. Bring it back. I'm gonna move into a lateral lunge position. So I can really get all my body weight on that leg, okay? So I'm gonna let that ankle roll. I'm gonna bend my knee, right? Get that weight on the ankle. I'm gonna straighten it out, staying in that inverted position, right? Nice bit of length there. I'm gonna use the ankle to roll back, right? I'm gonna get several reps here until I find fatigue. Should be about 5 to 8 or so. We're gonna roll with the bent knee. We're gonna hold at that end range. We're gonna press. Nice stretch through the top of that ankle. Bring it back. Here we go. Lateral lunge. Feeling those ligaments, that connective tissue, really get involved here. Deep breaths. Feel that stretch. Feel that strength driving into the ankle. Nice stretch and squeeze. I'm going to get 2 more. Last one. Woo! All right, I'm gonna do the other side, same exact thing. Now again, you may have one side that's more been more traumatized than the other. You may need to do one regress version, so on and so forth. So just make sure we start easy if you've never done this and work your way up, right? We don't want to injure ourselves trying to make ourselves more durable by skipping steps. All right, so again, I'm gonna bend that knee. Let that ankle roll into that inverted position. We're gonna hang out there. All the body weight, we're gonna keep it inverted. As we straighten out the leg, we really get that max range with the weight on it, and we're going to use that tissue to roll ourselves back to neutral. So bent knee, nice stretch, feel that connective tissue work, push into that straight leg position. We go back. Here we go. Let's find some fatigue. Nice. Good stretches here. Good work. I'm going to get 2 more. Here we go, last one. All right. Ooh, you can hear both my ankles pop there. That's good stuff. Okay, we need to go back to workspace. I'm going to add some load, right? My little ankle weights here. This is an equipment-focused class. Again, very accessible here, ankle weights. I got these on Amazon for like 30 bucks. They have even cheaper ones. Even if you don't have an ankle weight, do this with body weight like we started the class. You can find plenty of fatigue in body weight. Ankle cars, so we're going back to the cars and the capsule cars. I'm gonna start on my right leg, and again, I'm gonna add a little bit of resistance here. So again, we're going 1 minute each direction, really gonna fatigue this ankle. All right, slow and steady. Again, with the weight, important I slow down, make sure I'm getting to end range. Make sure I'm really controlling that tissue. Slow, steady, and controlled. Again, looking to squeeze all that tissue as I move around. We got 30 seconds on this direction. Almost there, 10 seconds. All right, we're gonna stay on this ankle. We're just gonna change the direction we draw the circle. And after I finish this rep, I'm gonna switch at the top. I'm gonna change the angle of my hip a little bit. Again, just to make sure I can get that squeeze into the area that I'm looking for. I gotta be honest with you, when I switched the position of my hip, I kind of blanked out. I'm not sure if I actually switched directions on my ankle. So if you catch that, make sure you do both sides. I'm tired and my brain doesn't work all the way, but I've committed to this direction for now, so that's where I'm gonna be. We're almost done with this second minute. Oh my gosh. In 3, 2, and 1. Oof. Okay. That ankle's fired up, right? We're gonna go to the other side. And we're gonna pick that direction. All right, we're gonna move. Finding that contraction all the way around. Here we go, we got about 30 seconds left. And let's switch ways. Slow, steady control. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's getting spicy. Here we go. 30 more seconds. Now, this isn't the most fun or glamorous thing to do, but this is very effective. Strengthening the entire ankle here. And let's relax. Woo! All right. That ankle's fired up. Guess what? We got to go back to the original one. We're going back to our capsule car. Remember, this one is the limited movement version where we have 90 degrees in the ankle and we are simply shifting side to side, attempting to squeeze all that tissue on the lateral medial side of the ankle. Here we go. 1 minute. Nice, steady transitions. Keeping that entire ankle tight as we move. Really exaggerating the difficulty of this movement, giving myself a little squeeze at end range, and again, aiming for fatigue in all of that tissue. Oof. Here we go, almost there. In 3, 2, and 1. Good, we're gonna switch. $60 on this side. Same thing, capsule car. Keeping that 90 degrees, keeping that tension, getting that ankle fatigued. I don't know why that left one clicks, but it clicks. It's weird because I feel like the right one should. That's the one that gives me the most problems. Hopefully I didn't jinx myself. Here we go, 30 seconds. Oh, that one's been spicy. In 3, 2, and 1. Oh my gosh. All right, my ankles are very fatigued at this point, but we have one last thing to do. This is gonna be a new type of movement that I'm gonna introduce from the internal strength model. We do need a band. So I have a very light band. I have affixed to my door, so it's affixed to an immovable object. I'm gonna bring in a bench just so I can get the right leverage. Give me a second to get this set up here. Again, pretty simple. These bands are very cheap, very accessible, and it is a very light one. And I'm gonna use a block just to prop up my foot. And from here, I will pull the band. Okay, so again, this band is affixed to my door, so it can't move when I pull on it. I am going to wrap it around my foot, right, in a way that it stays on there. So this is called an EQI. It is kind of an oxymoron in that it's a dynamic isometric or an eccentric isometric. So because I have pain kind of in this top corner pocket of my ankle, right, I'm gonna work the dorsiflexion to plantar flexion, right? But I wanna do so in a way that lays directional tissue. So what does that mean? When we normally injure tissue, right? There's damage to that tissue. And normally our muscle, it functions in a line because it is engaged in similar directions constantly, because that is the function of our joints, right? They function in certain directions. So the tissue, when it's healthy, is linear, right? It has directionality to it. Now, when we get injured and the body repairs it, it's chaos. It just puts new tissue down any which way direction just to patch it, right? Well, those patches are not as strong or as functional as the directional linear tissue. So the EQI is basically a direct message to the body to lay that tissue down in the direction that we want. Now, my ankle is fatiguing just sitting here explaining this, so we're gonna get into it. So I'm gonna pull my toes up towards my knee as high as I possibly can. The band is applying pressure in the opposite direction. I wanna make sure I hit all the different lines of tissue in that area, right? So I'm gonna do that capsule car, right? We're gonna shift side to side. Now, naturally, over the course of about 2 to 3 minutes, maybe less because I sat here and fought this band for a little bit, but I'm naturally gonna fail, right? From dorsiflexion into plantar flexion. So we're gonna hit various lines of tissue with myself shifting this ankle from side to side. We're also gonna hit various lengths of tissue as the ankle fails, okay? So we wanna move very slowly here because again, the goal is to fail that tissue, right? The goal is not to do as many capsule cars. The goal is not to keep my ankle in this dorsiflex position for as long as possible. Again, the goal is to fail that tissue. So I'm gonna move nice and slow. I'm gonna keep everything tense. I'm gonna get really good contractions. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm already out of my end range position. I'm failing into this band already. I'm at least 1 minute in. We're trying to make it between 2 to 3 minutes. It's kind of usually the sweet spot. Again, I might not make it all the way there. I can feel things starting to fail. Oh my gosh. This is the goal. Here we go. 90 seconds in. Oh my gosh. Once you get into these latter stages, 5 seconds feels like an eternity. We're coming up on 2 minutes. We're getting pretty close. That's all I got. Oh my god, that's pretty much exactly 2 minutes. I'm gonna let this shoot off. We're gonna hold and we're gonna switch to the other leg. Woo! Okay, no explanation needed, right? We're gonna crank those toes up and range dorsiflexion. We're gonna engage that capsule car and we're gonna move nice and slow. Nice, slow, controlled movements. Again, the slower we move, the more we fatigue, the more tension we have, the more we fatigue. That's what we want. And no, it's not necessarily better if you're like, hey, I did this and I failed in 5 minutes. That's not necessarily better. We want to hit that sweet spot between 2 and 3 minutes. We're trying to fail that tissue. Oh my gosh. It's amazing how quick that burn comes on. We're 1 minute in. About 30 seconds. Hit our 2 minutes. Oh, this is